All right, I'm going to do facing cancer too. So what I talked about last time, I am not a medical doctor. I'm just talking, I've been a psychologist the past 20 plus years. And so I'm just talking as a person, as a friend here, with the experience that I have, but so that you can just get some psychological tips. If you or a friend of yours is facing cancer, or a sibling or a child or something like that, I want you to be able to help support yourself or help support them as they go through this. So what I was saying in the last video, I had this picture, let me get it, and I forgot to say all of it, so I'll have it in the description of that one, I'm sure, the last video, Facing Cancer 1. So I learned how to draw this. This is a Van Gogh, and when you see me, I just got a notebook. If you saw me draw something, it would be like a stick figure. I cannot draw, but I can draw. This was my third drawing, because I drew it upside down. And when you draw it upside down, I learned from this book that just said it turns this logical part of your brain, the left part of your brain. Now, I just learned yesterday that your logical part of your brain also has an emotional center as well, by this TED Talk by this Dr. Jill, I think. She's great. Anyway, but I'm bringing this up because when you have an idea of, oh, here, I'm just fighting this big thing called cancer, then you're fighting your idea of that. If I start drawing my idea of a finger, I didn't know what I was drawing here, right? And if I start drawing my idea of it, I just draw this my idea of one. If I started following God, wanting a relationship with God, let's say I call God divine love so that we don't reduce God into a little box. I could have my idea of what it looks like to be spiritual, or Christian or Jewish or whatever my faith was, or I can actually, be really present and see, what does it mean to be intimate with divine love, with God? What does it mean to let God in to all my feelings and my thoughts and my emotions, and, to surrender all my trauma from childhood or whatever's going on, cancer, whatever we're facing. What I'm bringing up is that so we can have our idea of something, and we can have this idea of the monster under the bed, or what I brought up in the last video is that, my idea of giving birth was what is this going to be like? Am I going to live? And there's the possibility of no, but, now we have a lot of modern medicine and people that with knowledge about how, midwives had knowledge of how to give birth to babies back then, that's why they had them. And so, if you're facing cancer, like I mentioned, Eckhart Tolle went through it himself, and he wrote a book called The Power of Now, way before he had cancer. He just had cancer more recently. But the power of now is about being really present in the now, knowing yourself beyond just your circumstances, beyond just calling something, this is a problem. No, this is a circumstance that now you are facing, and I'm not going to describe right now how I'm facing it in my life. Just to protect other people's medical records and stuff like that. But if you're facing it, then it's about, you can keep asking. You know what? Latoya just had a video yesterday, Latoya Okeia, that was in every storm, there's a gift. Write this in the comments. I love how she's so confident about that. In every storm, there's a gift. And so I wrote it in the comments. I wrote storm, like a emoji of the waves, and then one of those gift emojis. And it's just understanding sometimes right in the middle of it, you're not going to be like, what's the gift? Yay, I'm so happy, But James, the book of James, who's called the brother of Jesus, he did say, this is coming up in my mind, count it all joy when you face trials of all different kinds, because trials creates perseverance, and perseverance more faith. You're stretching your capacity for faith. Like every day, if I do yoga or some kind of exercise, it's like I can do more push-ups than I did the day before. He's always like, because I watched the same video, go to your own edge, challenge yourself without judgment. Well, right now, if you're facing this or someone you know is facing it, you're being challenged to face something that you haven't faced before. Now, look, imagine, right? If I had a breakup before and then another breakup and a really bad breakup, and then I have a breakup right now, my memory, let's say back to the logical brain and the, emotional brain, if we go back to the old school way that we defined that, your emotional brain sort of like is non-linear. It's not time-based. And so it just feels like, breakup is coming. And it brings up all of the old sad feelings about the breakups before, or the abandonment that happened in childhood, or whatever, it's like, and so when we have this unknown to us, physical ailment, it's like we can come up with all these horror stories or all these worries, unnecessary worries, that what I was saying in Facing Cancer video 1 was that, understand. I think it's important for everybody to understand this, whether you're facing this or facing anything, is that you have, let's say, like 100 units of energy a day. When you pray, give us this day our daily bread. Jesus was always teaching about higher consciousness, whether you know that or not. He totally was, because he was high consciousness. Whatever else you know about him or think about him, it's like if you had the words, every word of like the most conscious, most loving mystic that ever was, and I'm not, I'll just leave it at that. Like I welcome all people of all religions always, right? I almost just bought these Hanukkah socks in the when I got my my notebook. Let's see what I found a notebook that's like my friend Elliot's album cover. It's just a $2 notebook, but I write a lot. I'm an author of 3 books, but so what was I saying about God? Jesus is always teaching high consciousness. Now, when you so Jesus was saying, give us this day our daily bread. And so imagine if you only have 100 units of energy every day. You get to choose. Am I going to do that writing? Am I going to do that helping other people out? Am I going to do that doing my job well? Am I going to do that, spend some time contemplating, is this the right job for me? Is this my calling? Is this the highest way I can learn from this world, or give back to this world, or do both? When you're facing something that brings up your own mortality, like I'm all like this with my hands right now, I'm like, it does help you really value like the food that you're eating in front of you, the person that's across from you, like the holiday that you might be spending. And it's just like, and all of the good memories that you do have of people, and just cherishing that this, there is a verse that says, in Ecclesiastes, there's a time to dance, footloose, right? There's a time to embrace, and a time to refrain from embracing. There's a time to speak and a time not to speak, and a time to be silent, right? In Ecclesiastes, he says, it's important, because I remember hearing a sermon about this more than 20 years ago. I remember this sermon. It was a guy named Scott. I won't say his last name right now, but he was saying to contemplate death. Teach us to number our days. And I'm not saying be morbid and think that you're going to die. I'm saying be super positive and and learn how to be really present. Know yourself as the deeper I, the deeper you, beyond your skin color, beyond your age, beyond just this life. God made you out of God's self. You are God consciousness. You are a soul, and you've been given this body, and it's a gift. And we don't know if my last day could be right now on my way to work, and I'm praying not, but if I was in a car accident a few months back where my car hydroplaned on the freeway, and it was very frightening and calm also at the same time. And one of my best friends just went through one of the same things. I just spoke to her, and she got to crawl out of her sunroof. Her airbags went off. Mine did not. But anyway, it's just when you do that, you just start looking at, wow, did I spend my morning the way I wish I would have spent my morning? I'm like, yeah, I had done my morning prayer and this meditation. And I'm not just trying to give ideas about how your life ought to be, but it's just like, did I hug my kids? Did I say I love you? Did I say I love you to the people that I care about? Did I apologize to all the people that I could have ever apologized to about anything that I've done that I know was not in alignment with divine love? Once I learned that, that was just 11:11 on that, that's like open doors and like alignment with God. I look at, we're all one in God, like, like this, we go back to the oneness, right? And so a bunch of ones are like that. But I just learned all of these things over time from being a psychologist and from just loving divine love, loving God, and wanting to be on a true spiritual path. Is just like, make amends, say you're sorry, be humble, go, like, it doesn't matter if they reject you, if they don't speak back to you or whatever. If it's yours to say sorry for something, then like, be a man and be a woman and be courageous. And I had an alarm, so I got to head off to work. I'm at a gas station right now, but I wanted to stop and do this for us. Is just know that what you're facing is not your idea. Sometimes it's not your idea of a finger. It's not your idea of cancer. It's whatever it is in that day. And so what I was saying before also is, make sure to get rest. Try your best to stay at peace. Make a practice every day. If it's 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes at night, some people will stare like at a candle, I buy those Jesus candles sometimes for like $2 at the grocery store, and you're staring at the Sacred Heart of Jesus or Mary, who birthed Christ, or just a candle flame where you just focus on it and you choose to not give your attention to all these thoughts that are coming and going, and know that you are not your thoughts. I love Eckhart Tolle says that you don't have to believe your thoughts. And Jesus says, do not worry about tomorrow, because today has enough worries of its own. And so I encourage you not to make up more fear and more scary stuff. Just, get the information, the real information that you can get, and learn how to be strong. And this is going to sound so glib, but it's like I have a little post-it note. I can see it in my mind's eye on the right side of my computer. My desk, my office at home, my desk. It's in a closet, and it says, do your best and leave the rest behind. And of course, ask people to pray if you're of that kind, and welcome people praying even if you're not. And pray yourself. Pray always. Be in a state. This is a state of prayer that you can practice, so that when something like this comes, it doesn't hook you in and take you over. It's not everything. Watch my video about Peter, when he said, Lord, if that's you walking on the water, I want to come out to you. And he goes. And when he keeps his eyes on Christ, he's walking. But when he goes back and looks at the storm, he starts sinking. And Jesus is right by him, like footsteps in the sand, It's a poem about how there was only one set of footprints. Those were the most difficult times of my life. Why was there only one set instead of two sets? He said, because I was carrying you through that. All right, so it's time to have some faith, right? And learn how to grow in that. That's what James said, the brother of Christ. Perseverance will make its perfect work in you. All right, I wish you so much love. I hope this encouraged you.